Deep in Egypt's golden sands, there's a super mysterious place. This is Saqqara, one of the oldest, most important ancient spots on Earth. It's a giant graveyard, a city for the dead, where kings and important people rested. For thousands of years, kings and important folks chose this special land for their final rest. They built their forever homes here, tall pyramids reaching for the sky, showing how great they were, and tombs full of art hide down below, telling old stories. Saqqara tells tales of an old world, full of secrets and puzzles. And the Serapeum of Saqqara is one of these really big secrets. It's not like other tombs. It's super special and one of a kind. Picture wide hallways under the ground, going on for a super long way. Tunnels dug deep in the rock like a tricky maze. These tunnels were found in 1850, and it wowed everyone. A famous French explorer, Auguste Mariette, found them after a long search. He followed clues from old picture writing, called hieroglyphs. What he found amazed the world, and smart people all talked about it. This underground place is huge. It stretches for hundreds of yards and has many rooms. The Serapeum was for the Apis bull, which people in old Egypt worshipped. It's truly a wonder, and makes lots of people curious to find out more. Inside these dark tunnels, we find them. The real wonders of the Serapeum, huge boxes made of granite, 25 boxes in all. These boxes aren't just old objects, they show how super smart the ancient Egyptians were. Each one is a single block of rock, carved so carefully. They were carved from one giant piece of stone, which makes them even more awesome to look at. Most of them are made from Aswan granite. That's a stone famous for being super hard and strong. It's a stone known for being really tough and strong, which made it just right for these boxes. This stone was dug up from a place way down south, hundreds of miles from Saqqara. Hundreds of miles away from Saqqara, which made it super tricky to move them. These aren't just little boxes, they are super huge, and each one weighs an incredible amount. Each box weighs a mind-boggling amount. Many of them are thought to weigh 70 tons. Many of them weigh about 70 tons, and some, when you add their lids, are close to 100 tons. And some of them, with their lids on top, weigh almost 100 tons. That makes them some of the heaviest old things ever found in the whole world. How did the ancient Egyptians even move these giant blocks? And how did they get them down into these tunnels? And how did they lower them into these tunnels? The lids by themselves weigh many tons. The lids alone weigh tons and tons, and they fit on top so perfectly, it's amazing. They fit so perfectly, it's like a super cool building trick. This is something that makes even today's builders scratch their heads. It's a real ancient Egyptian puzzle that makes you say, wow. So why were these amazing boxes made? That's the really big question. The most popular idea links them to the Apis bulls. Apis was a sacred bull, a really special one. He was worshipped in Memphis, the old capital city. When an Apis bull died, it was a very big deal. They would mummify him in a huge ceremony. Then, he was buried with honors, like he was a god. People think the Serapeum is their final resting place. This idea has strong support. Writings found in the Serapeum talk about the Apis bulls. Stone tablets tell about their lives and deaths, but most of the boxes were found empty, and that makes the mystery even deeper. You just can't deny the link to the worship of the Apis bull. This worship was super old and really strong. It goes all the way back to the early days of the kings. The bull was seen as a kind of go-between, between people and the main creator god Ptah. Later on, it got connected to Osiris, the god of the underworld. A living Apis bull was picked based on special signs, and it lived a fancy life in the temple. It got everything it needed. When the Apis bull died, the whole country would be sad. It was a time when everyone in the land would mourn. The way they mummified it was super complicated. It was a lot like how they mummified a pharaoh. The bull's body was kept with a lot of care. They wrapped it in fancy linen cloths, and they decorated it with charms and jewels. The funeral parade must have been really grand, leading to its burial in the Serapeum. This was a super important holy duty. The skill we see in the Serapeum is really amazing. We have to think about the tough things the ancient builders faced. First, getting the huge granite blocks. Aswan was hundreds of miles to the south. They had to cut the stone from the bedrock with simple tools. This was very hard work and took a lot of effort. Then, they had to move them, moving blocks that weighed 70 tons by land and by water. This was an amazing feat of planning and moving. They probably used sleds pulled by teams of men and big boats on the Nile River. Once the blocks got to Saqqara, they had to be brought to the site. And then, the hardest part, lowering them into the narrow tunnels underground and putting them in their special places. The boxes themselves are so perfectly made, it's breathtaking. Even after all this time studying it, the Serapeum still keeps its secrets really well. So many questions still have scientists puzzled. Exactly how they built things is still a big discussion. We can guess, but the small stuff is still a mystery. How did they make these surfaces so super smooth? And these super flat spots on the granite? What the empty boxes were for is a big puzzle. If they weren't all for burying Apis bulls, then what were they for? All those boxes are also a big surprise. Does it match the Apis bull count exactly? When they built them and used them is still being studied and updated. Each carving is a new clue. The Serapeum is more than just boxes. So, let's really look at the precision. How did ancient Egyptians get this good? This is what really makes the Serapeum boxes special. They're not just any old stone boxes. Moving a big stone is one thing, but moving it super carefully is totally different. And to shape it so perfectly, that's a whole other level. This precision is more than just good skill. Engineers today, using advanced tools, would find this a challenge. Even with modern tech, it's still difficult. Trying to make similar boxes would be expensive and complicated. It would take huge resources and careful planning. Yet, the ancient Egyptians did this thousands of years ago. Think about the flat surfaces. How did they do it? Some of the inside surfaces are flat down to a tiny, tiny measurement. That takes amazing skill. That's an amazing level of exactness. How did they measure this? What tools did they use? How did they do it without new lasers or special polishing machines? That's the question that puzzles scientists. The usual idea is they polished them very patiently. But is that enough? Using harder stones and gritty stuff. That process takes a lot of time and hard work. The inside corners of the boxes are often perfectly square. That needs really good measuring and shaping. This points to methods that could shape stone super carefully, like a doctor. How did they do it? The evidence in the stone is hard to ignore. These boxes make us wonder a lot about ancient technology. The Serapeum of Saqqara is still an active research site. It's a place of constant discovery. Archaeologists, experts on ancient Egypt, and scientists from many different fields are all curious about its mysteries. New technologies are giving us new ways to study the site. Special scanning methods can let us see inside the stone without hurting it. Looking very closely at the tool marks can give us clues. Studying what the rocks are made of can help us find out exactly where the stones came from. The hunt for answers is still going on. Every new clue helps build a clearer picture, but it often makes us ask new questions too. That's just how archaeology works. We're always learning more and more. The Serapeum challenges us to rethink our understanding of ancient Egyptian abilities. The search must go on.